From CBS4, this is your news now.
Today, people across our nation will pay tribute to those who were killed in the September 11th terror attacks. The change is coming to Indianapolis's own 9/11 memorial.
Any child that has been missing for 2 weeks is in danger.
Right now, police are looking for this teenager. He was on his way to Mississippi, but he hasn't shown up. The dangerous situation police now fear he could be caught up in.
And some Indiana students are putting weed in their e-cigarettes. The steps one district's now taking to address what has become a new and big issue.
We've been talking about that one for weeks now. And 6 o'clock here on this Wednesday morning. Appreciate you choosing CBS4 to start your day. I'm Angela Brower.
And I'm Frank Mickens. Today, of course, the date means a lot. September 11th, here we are, 2019, 18 years since nearly 3,000 people lost their lives in the 9/11 attacks in 2001.
Any minute now, one Hoosier is going to start his yearly tradition of waving the American flag over the 56th Street overpass on the northwest side.
Yeah, and it's already a mess out on the road, so we'll get to more of how Hoosiers are going to be commemorating the day, but we do need to get to breaking traffic news with Rachel Bogle.
Yeah, that's right, Frank. Let's get right to this. So we're taking a live look here at the north split. So this accident here blocking at least one, looks more like two of these right lanes there of southbound I-65. Again, this is right near the north split, so this is going to cause backup not only on southbound 65, but also on westbound I-70. And we're already seeing things slow down to a crawl in this area there. So you can see, looks like another police officer is arriving right now, but there's already a pretty heavy presence in that area. And again, this just happened minutes ago here, so I've been watching as these first responders head into the area. We don't have any information about anything going on, how many vehicles could involve, any injuries there as well, but we will keep you posted as we do get that information. In the meantime, as I said, you're going to want to factor in extra time. Already seeing speed slowing there. Taking a look behind that area again, look, another police officer looks like he's headed to that area as well, but the backup isn't extended to this area just yet, but I'm sure it's only a matter of time. Star?
All right, Rachel, thank you for keeping an eye on that for us. I am watching these temperatures because the climate records show us that our average high this time of the year is 80 degrees. Today we should hit 90, so way too hot for this far into September. But here we are, starting off the morning very warm, 73 in Indianapolis, 74 right now in Mooresville. Terre Haute is still at 77 degrees first thing this morning. The good news is Live Guardian radar is nice and quiet, but keep in mind we could have an isolated shower here and there today, mainly in the morning or in the evening. Midday should stay dry. And we're keeping an eye to the north and west. Those storms really packing a punch as they moved in through the northern plains overnight. A couple of tornadoes reported out that direction, and more recently some hail reports with that system. Back home staying fairly quiet, just very hot for today. That isolated rain chance lingers, but other than that, it really looks like a good forecast for if you want to wash your car, you can certainly do that. I would say anything you want to get done though, do it early because that heat is really going to kick up quick. Angela.
All right, Star, thank you. Here we are at 6:02, and today is a somber day. It marks the 18th anniversary of the worst terror attack in U.S. history. Across central Indiana, Hoosiers are remembering the thousands of people that were killed.
So there's one particular man on the northwest side. He will continue his yearly tribute today from the 465 overpass. You probably have seen this in years past. Kobe Thielen joining us now on 56th Street. And Kobe, he says the tradition comes from something he saw during 9/11 coverage.
That's right. I was just talking with James a second ago. This is the 18th year he's done this, and he says during that coverage, they panned out and he saw a man standing over the Potomac waving an American flag attached to a branch. He said that it moved him so much he wanted to have that symbol right here for Indianapolis as well. So every single year he comes out here on the south side of 56 and waves a flag over the interstate, and he says that it's a way to be a voice for the 3,000 victims killed on that day. Now, it might be on the south side of 56 here over the interstate, but it's a symbol that can be seen for nearly a mile in either direction. Cars honk, wave as they support underneath, as they drive right underneath. We're hearing some cars honking right now. He says it's a particularly somber day for folks here in Indianapolis as well. He recalls all of the New Yorkers who feared for their families when their flights were diverted here. Now, on the 18th anniversary today, it also marks a national change in the fight against global terrorism. Yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order modernizing and expanding sanctions. And according to CNN, it allows the U.S. to target terrorists without linking them to a specific attack, allowing sanctions on anyone who finances terror groups.
Will help us to ensure that the deadly attacks of September 11th that occurred 18 years ago this week are never repeated on American soil. Never.
The vice president will also make his way to Shanksville in Pennsylvania, where he'll speak at the 18th Flight 93 commemorative service. That's expected to begin at 8:45. And at that exact same time this morning at the Indianapolis International Airport, they will also be holding a Patriots Day ceremony. It's going to be hosted by TSA and by first responders here. That's also beginning at 8:45 this morning. Of course, we're going to be out here with James this morning talking with him about what this symbol means not only for himself but for the folks here in Indianapolis. So be sure to tune in on our website and on our social media platforms as well. Frank, Angela, send it back to you.
All right, Kobe, thanks so much. Such a phenomenal display of patriotism. New this morning, a man is shot in the leg on Indy's Near East Side. The 37-year-old was walking on Gray Street near East St. Clair Street. This was around 12:45 in the morning. He got into some kind of altercation with another person, and police say that person shot him. Investigators say the victim is being uncooperative. We're told he was in stable condition when he went to Eskenazi. Also new right now, a fire broke out at a near West Side bar. Look at that. This was around 1:30 in the morning. It was just an hour after High Neighbor Tavern closed down for the night. And we're told no one was inside the building at the time. There's still no word on what caused these flames, but you might remember it because this bar has seen some trouble before. Back in 2017, look at this. An SUV slammed right into the bar, plunged inside. There were people there at the time. The SUV barreled right into the bar and caused extensive damage, but thankfully no injuries.
This morning, the search continues for a missing 14-year-old. He's from Shelbyville. Diego Ordonez Pais has not been seen now for 2 weeks.
Traffickers and other types of criminals, they look at Indiana as basically fresh meat.
Police are investigating all possibilities to find Diego. CBS4's Jessica Hayes is here with the latest in the search.
Police say any child who's been missing for 2 weeks is in danger. They're concerned about where he could be. This is what he looks like. Diego Ordonez Pais has lived in Shelbyville for the last year with a sponsor. He's originally from Guatemala. Shelbyville police learned of his disappearance from the National Office of Refugee Resettlement. When they questioned his sponsor, they were told Diego left Shelbyville to stay with family in Mississippi. But investigators there can't find Diego or any family in Mississippi. Police tell us they're not ruling out anything, including human trafficking. So we reached out to the International Anti-Human Trafficking Project. They told us they see this every day and they're seeing a rise in this area.
With trafficking, what people need to actually understand is that it's a human to these traffickers. These victims are a reusable commodity. They put it more like in a business sense. It is the vice that funds all other vices.
He went on to say Indiana is a crossroads, usually a source of pride here, but they say that's also a crossroads for criminals to take advantage of. We reached out to police. We've got a lot of questions about what the sponsor told them. In the meantime, if you think you see Diego, call Shelbyville Police 317-392-5108.
Well, we'll be watching that one. 6:07, the State Department of Education now looking to revoke the license of an Indiana teacher. The complaint accuses Tri-West football coach and teacher Tyler Bruce of, quote, immoral acts and neglect of duty. Parents packed into the Northwest Hendricks School Board meeting to both show their anger. Some showed their support of the coach. Earlier this year, the board unanimously voted not to fire Bruce after he was accused of asking for naked pictures from an underage female student and touching her inappropriately. The alleged victim's mother talked during the meeting.
This is extremely frustrating. It's an awful experience to start with, and even worse, that it hasn't been taken care of.
Well, Bruce is currently on paid leave. That case is under investigation by the Hendricks County Sheriff's Office. So far, no charges have been filed.
A piece of military past was left at a Speedway soccer field, and now high school officials are looking for the Hoosier hero that owns it. So we're going to show you. This is called a challenge coin. Each coin tells the story of a unit or a deployment, and it may showcase slogans, mottos, flags, or traditions. This one says Operation Iraqi Freedom, and it shows the years 2009 to 2010. While at a bar with fellow vets, military personnel can place a coin down, and whoever has the highest ranking coin drinks for free. Now, if someone forgets theirs, that person could end up paying for all the drinks.
From what I'm hearing, it's one of the bigger ones that have ever, that we know of.
Was found last Friday by a member of the Sparkplugs varsity girls soccer team. They hosted Shortridge and Tri-West, so the owner could have connections to either of those schools. I'm glad that it's at least out there that, hey, we need to find this person, right?
I'm just waiting for when we update folks about
that'll be
finding
exciting.
it. Well, how about this? A story of hope after Hurricane Dorian. We need this too. How one woman in the Bahamas says an American angel saved her when she was at her breaking point.
One of the biggest names in the NFL is named in a major lawsuit. The person in his life accusing Antonio Brown now of sexual assault.
Here, the camera isn't pointed in the right direction. She said they're ready. I said, I'm here. The camera has to cooperate. Hi. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Police say any child missing for 2 weeks is in danger. Diego Ordonez Pais is originally from Guatemala. He lived in Shelbyville for the last year with a sponsor. That sponsor told police Diego left to stay with family in Mississippi, but investigators there can't find Diego or any family in Mississippi. Police here aren't ruling out anything, including human trafficking. One organization to fight trafficking told us they're seeing a rise in trafficking here. They say Indiana is a crossroads that criminals take advantage of. The search for Diego continues. If you see him, call Shelbyville police right away.
Right now it's 6:13. It's just been hours since he signed with the New England Patriots, and receiver Antonio Brown's been accused of rape in a new lawsuit. One of his former trainers filed this suit in Florida. She accuses him of sexually assaulting her 3 times. Brown has denied the allegations. In a statement through his attorney, he claims they had a consensual relationship. Brown has been at the center of a big controversy in recent weeks that led to his release from the Oakland Raiders. The Patriots issued a statement saying they take the allegations seriously and confirms the league is investigating.
This morning, a school bus driver is dead. 8 students are recovering after a bus crashed in Mississippi. The driver reportedly suffered a medical emergency, which caused the accident. The bus rolled and it landed on the side of the road. A medical helicopter took 4 kids to the hospital. At last check, they were in serious condition. Here we are at 6:14. The number of victims from Hurricane Dorian is expected to rise in the Bahamas.
It could be significantly higher. Government officials say at least 50 people have died at this point. They've confirmed that, but there are concerns that number could reach into the thousands. Crews are still sifting through the wreckage. Thousands of people still trying to flee the battered island, and more shelters are expected to open for people who just don't have a home.
One Bahamian family made a dangerous trek back to their house during Hurricane Dorian because they wanted to grab some things that their son with autism needed. As Category 5 winds ripped that house apart, the family joined other stranded residents at the airport but didn't have the money for airfare off Abaco Island. That's when the mother said they met their American angel.
He came to me and he put the money in my hand and he said, "This is the money for you and your son to get off the island." Sorry. He literally saved me mentally that day because I was about to break.
Wow, such a sweet story. Sandra and AJ made it to Nassau that day. Her older son stayed behind to help evacuate the elderly before reuniting with the family. By the way, Sandra's American angel messaged her he is safe and back in Florida this morning.
Seen a lot of that. Kind-hearted folks. The fellow that bought the generators
Stepping up
over there was
You know,
the
you
kid,
hate to see devastation
you know?
like this, but out of this, you often see really good people stepping up and helping others, and that's wonderful.
And we're glad when we can bring those stories.
Sure, we need to see it.
Yeah, hey, today's going to be hot again. We're going to once again hit 90 degrees. It's already warm out. Still a little bit dark out, about an hour before the sun officially rises, but that's the view from Victory Field. We're at 74 degrees there right now, and we have 72 in Fishers, 73 in Jamestown, Mooresville, you're at 74, and 73 right now in Shelbyville. Look at this wind, still out of the south, and that is a huge factor this time of the year because we need that southerly breeze to get us back above those average highs. We'll certainly do that again today. No problem, actually. Live Guardian radar quiet back home, but look at these storms to the north and west, really packing a punch as they move through Minneapolis, southern Minnesota, into Iowa as well, and a couple of storms out ahead of that heading toward the Milwaukee area. Some of these storms have produced tornadoes overnight, as well as many reports of hail and strong damaging wind gusts. Back home, though, we are going to stay out of the severe threat today. Can't completely rule out a light shower early this morning or even into this evening, though, so just keep that in mind. Can't completely get rid of those rain chances today. But right now we are dry, just some broken clouds at this point. Future View keeps those in the picture all the way through lunchtime. Here's as we head to about 1:30. At that point, we're going to start to watch a couple of showers popping up on radar. You can see they're mainly toward Muncie and Richmond this afternoon, but we are going to keep the entire area in that chance. It's just not expected to be widespread, so just a small chance we do see some rain again as we head into this evening. But then overnight we're dry and just partly cloudy, really not looking at too many issues here today or tomorrow, just that heat. And it will again be extreme. High of 90 degrees. We really should only be topping off around 80 this time of the year. So too hot for this far into summer. We really should be trekking back into those low 80s for highs and even really be spending a lot of time in the 70s. But our overnight low is 71. That's also way above the average. Just partly cloudy tonight and warm and humid. Air conditioners just going to keep on running. Tomorrow's high 90 degrees. We'll still be hot and humid, but we should see some more sunshine. I think that considering we're still in summer, it should be a pretty nice day, especially if you have access to a pool. Take advantage of that. Friday, still toasty warm, high there 86 degrees. We will have some scattered storms, but then looking absolutely perfect for the weekend. Saturday, sunny with a high of 82 and then 84 on Sunday, Rach.
All right, thanks so much, Star. So right now we're getting back to that breaking traffic news right in the North Split here. So it looks like we've seen just a little bit of change. The one thing that hasn't changed, though, is a lot of activity in that right lane still blocked. Again, that southbound 65 right in the North Split. It looks like over to that far left side things are moving a little bit better than they were before, but we're still talking about a multi-mile backup. I'm going to show you that here in a little bit, but first we're taking a closer look at that map there. You can see those speed sensors, a lot of red, a lot of orange, and look at that 3 miles per hour. That's that indication right in that area. So things are creeping along. Also, Drive Cam is sitting in this backup right now. So he's on scene there trying to get some more information because we don't really have any details yet. We've been trying to dig in and get those. And of course, I will keep you posted both here and on social media when we get those. But in the meantime, if you are headed in that direction, and again, especially with this backup impacting westbound I-70, that's the suggested detour for that closure there impacting southbound, westbound 465 on the southeast side. Look at this again, 2 miles back. That's how far this backup is. So it's definitely causing some huge problems there. So if that was your detour route, if you're heading out the door now, I would probably go ahead and use some secondary roads instead. It will get you there faster than this. Frank.
Oh man, we'll be seeing this again. 6:19 up next. Off to your neighborhood for a good time and a laugh.
The place offering one-of-a-kind gifts and a little side of insult.
Also, thousands of people across the country missing their paychecks.
A little over $1,000.
It's being done now to help them after the problem solvers went digging.
A man ditches the eye business to find a work environment where you can have a good time and, most importantly, bring your dogs to work with you. So he decided to go ahead and create it and named it Pumpkin Fish. It's a store located off Mass Ave, and Pumpkin Fish, it's a one-stop shop for the perfect gift for anyone who loves a good laugh and doesn't get offended too easily. We're going shopping on this trip in your neighborhood.
The name Pumpkinfish is after the owner's two Pomeranians, Catfish and Pumpkin. There had been some marketing people that said, that's not a good name. And we loved it. That was his first choice, his only choice. He was not budging.
Much like his choice in store name, owner Will Acton's Pumpkinfish is unapologetic and full of fun and flair. They sell everything from hilarious cards, magnets, mugs, tea towels, baby clothes, bath products, barware, coasters, and other novelties like their incredibly popular Golden Girls section.
Sometimes it's really hard to keep everything in stock as fast as we can because people of all ages. And I'm surprised at some of the younger folks that really know who the Golden Girls are. This is one of the very popular sellers. Yeah.
Like manager Rita Silva, Pumpkinfish is candid and unfiltered.
Manly man drink.
We couldn't even show some of their items because the wording, while hilarious, wasn't exactly TV friendly.
You go shopping, you just don't want to look around, you want to laugh, and we have so much laughter, and that's what it's about.
Another area that's sure to bring a smile to your face is their pet room, where you'll find pet-themed stationery, dishes, treats, pet-friendly beer, and even pop culture art.
It's all the celebrity faces, whether they're actors, actresses, singers. It's just they brought them to life with cats and dogs and put them on canvas.
While on Mass Ave, check out these other hot spots located within walking distance of Pumpkinfish: Macaroon Bar, Hedgerow, Libertine, and Three Dog Bakery.
So much to see, and it was such a fun visit. And when you do stop by Pumpkinfish, don't forget to check out their Indiana-themed area, as well as some of their other locally sourced items like teas from Cup and Kettle in Bloomington. And they've also got bath and body products that are popular and also local. For more info, check out this story posted right now on our website, CBS4Indy.com. Just look under that Hotspots tab. And
a lot of people in our newsroom probably flocking that place
today
just
to see
and this
what's
week.
there.
Yeah, really cool. Another dangerous trend in vaping.
Serious business here. Some Hoosiers putting weed in their e-cigarettes. What's being done to put a stop to that?
Today, as Hoosiers and people across the country remember the nearly 3,000 lives lost on 9/11, changes are coming to the Indianapolis 9/11 Memorial. I'm Charlene Cristobal. Coming up, I'll tell you the changes that are coming, what they mean to Hoosiers, and how you can help.
And I'm monitoring breaking traffic news here at the North Split. Still seeing this far right lane blocked. I'm going to tell you how long this backup is extending and the best route to make your way into downtown when we come back.
Come from? Automated freezing, full effect. You ready, Ron? I'm ready. You ready, Dave? I'm ready, Slick. Are you? Oh yeah, take it down. Girl, I must warn you. I sense something strange in my mind. Yeah. Yo, situation is. Let's cure it 'cause we're running out of time. It's all so. Relationships they seem from the start. It's also when love is not together from the heart. Check it out. It's driving me out of my mind. That's why it's hard for me to find. Can't get it out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love her. Wrong move, you dead. That girl is poison. Never trust a big button smile. That girl is poison. If I were you, I'd take precaution before I step to meet my girl. You know, 'cause in some you'll think she's the best thing in the world. She's so high, she'll drive you right out of your mind. Steal your heart when you're blind. Beware, she's scheming. She'll make you think you're dreaming. You'll fall in love and you'll be screaming. Demon fella like the vote getting paid, laid, so better lay low. Scheming on house money and the whole shit. The low pro hoe should be cut like an afro. So what you saying, huh? She's winning to you, but I know she's a loser. How did you know? Me and the crew used to do her.
Live from CBS4, this is your news now.
People around the country are remembering the thousands of Americans who died September 11, 2001, including right here in Indiana.
This is our Pearl Harbor, okay? Where were you when 9/11 occurred?
One Hoosier has waved the American flag over the interstate in the same spot for more than a decade.
On a clear day, it's a symbol that can be seen for nearly a mile in both directions.
How he says the idea came to him.
A 14-year-old boy who's a refugee from Guatemala hasn't been seen now in 2 weeks.
Man, I have many fears.
The dangers investigators believe he could be facing.
A woman's paycheck missing from her bank account.
A little over $1,000.
The nightmare she says she's been dealing with after a payroll company's sudden shutdown.
Here we are, 6:31. Welcome back. I'm Angela Brower.
And I'm Frank Mickens. We're gonna talk a lot about commemorating 9/11 today. But first, we do want to see what's happening in the weather because it got hot yesterday. Could be another hot one.
Yeah, it absolutely will, Frank. Look at this. Climate records show us that our average high should be about 80 degrees for today, but we are going to hit 90, and it's certainly going to feel like it. Heat index value is actually going to be even higher than that, and we're starting off warm. 73 right now in Indianapolis, 73 in Shelbyville, 70 right now in Spencer, and Terre Haute still 77 degrees. That's first thing in the morning. Live Guardian radar, good news there, nice and quiet. Can't roll out a sprinkler or two today. It'll kind of bookend us early this morning or later on this evening, but the severe threat stays well off to our north and west. I've seen a lot of storm reports associated with this part of the system. Some nearly 1-inch sized hail reported in central and southern parts of Minnesota, multiple tornado reports in the northern plains, and some of these storm reports read more than 4 inches of rain just within a couple of hours. So some problems out that direction. Back home, we are going to be mainly concerned about the heat today. By lunchtime, we will already be back into the 80s. So certainly we could have recess outdoors, but it will be very hot and humidity going to still be a problem. Same kind of thing for after school activities. That heat is going to be oppressive, and you're definitely going to want to make sure that everyone gets enough water today. We're going to hold on to the heat for a couple more days, but by the weekend things are looking better. I'll show you when the rain sneaks in there though before the weekend, coming up in a few minutes. Rachel.
All right, thanks so much, Star. So we are following up on this breaking traffic news here. You can still see a lot of activity. This is southbound I-65 near the north split. Still seeing that far right lane blocked. And I was hearing from my colleague Bill Ramika in Drive Cam saying that from that area he could see at least one vehicle there that looked like it had spun out. There was also another vehicle there. He wasn't clear if that was involved or not. We still are trying to get more details, but what you can see there on speed sensors, this is really impacting westbound I-70 already because we have high volume there, but add in the fact that that was also the go-to detour during that southbound westbound 465 closure on the southeast side. So if that was going to be your go-to, you're going to want to use some kind of secondary route because take a look at this backup. This is over 4 miles back. So if you're heading out right now, I would go ahead, probably exit I-70 if you're not already taking a secondary route. You can take that down to East 10th Street, take that into downtown, and that would be a much better option, or else you will be waiting for a while, Frank.
Oh, wow. All right, so hopefully it clears soon. 6:33, 18 years ago today on 9/11, 2001, terrorists hijacked 4 planes, crashing 2 of them into the World Trade Center towers in New York, the other into the Pentagon, and the 4th went down in a field in Pennsylvania.
Today, cities across the country are remembering the nearly 3,000 people that lost their lives, including right here in Indianapolis.
Our Charlene Cristobal live at the 9/11 Memorial downtown. And Charlene, talk a little bit about what's happening there today.
Well, Frank, so what's happening today is there will be a special ceremony just to mark and commemorate that anniversary today. But also it will be a time for the 9/11 Memorial Committee to announce some expansion efforts that they want, and that's why they need your help as well. So here's a little bit about what they want to do. So they want to, they want to expand this wall about 10 feet and also remember not only the people who died on that day, but after that day also. Now, 9 Hoosiers lost their lives in that attack, and they really just want this to be a place that people can bring their families for years to come. Now, along with expanding that wall 10 feet, they want to add a memorial to Lieutenant General Timothy Maude, the highest ranking officer killed during 9/11. And they also want to do something special with a Pentagon stone that sits at the memorial right now.
Plan to do here is because 2 years ago we received a stone from the Pentagon. Okay, we dedicated it here, and we want to mount that stone, but we've had to wait just a little while, okay, for artist renditions and design work and everything else to be completed.
So along with that, the name of the memorial will also change from the Indianapolis 9/11 Memorial to the Indiana 9/11 Memorial to pay tribute to all Hoosiers. The group says that they want to raise about $450,000 in the next 6 to 12 months to expand the memorial and put in those additions that I mentioned earlier. Now, to find out how you can help and also just to pay your respects and remember 9/11 with everybody here in Indianapolis, there will be a special ceremony at 10 today at the memorial that's on West Ohio Street, and everyone is welcome to come. Reporting downtown, Charlene Cristobal, CBS4 News.
New this morning, a judge revived a federal lawsuit filed by a former state trooper wrongfully convicted of killing his family. David Cam was convicted twice of killing his wife and 2 kids back in 2000. He was acquitted in 2013 after he served more than a decade behind bars. Cam sued, but that lawsuit was thrown out just last year over, quote, inadequate proof for his claims. Yesterday, a Chicago-based appeals court ruled Cam can, in fact, pursue damages for at least some of his claims, including that officials suppressed evidence that a forensics investigator was not qualified.
Autopsies are scheduled today for an elderly Mooresville couple killed in a house fire. Investigators say they have not ruled out foul play here. 79-year-old Mary Featherston died at her home. Her husband, 84-year-old Donald Featherston, died at Eskenazi. Investigators now using a special device to create 3D images inside that house. The state fire marshal's K-9 investigator was also brought in to check for signs of arson.
We want to start out with the, again, worst case scenario possible, and if we find out that the evidence is not pointing us that way, we downsize and come to that conclusion.
And I'm hoping to figure out what happened so we can move on and grieve my grandparents in peace.
Officials say there were no 911 calls from the home and no working smoke detectors. Right now, there are 2 separate death investigations happening in Martinsville. The bodies of 2 people were found less than a week apart and just a few streets away from each other. Police say last week they found someone dead on South Crawford Street behind Garfield Avenue Laundry. Then yesterday, a second death investigation after another person was found dead at a house on South Lincoln Street. Martinsville police say autopsies on the bodies still need to be done to figure out how each victim died.
Next month, a woman accused of hitting and killing 3 siblings at their bus stop will head to trial. And just now, a judge issued a gag order to lawyers on both sides to try and reduce publicity ahead of that trial. Shepard is charged in the deaths of 3 siblings, Olivia Stahl and Mason and Xavier Engel. If found guilty, Shepard could face more than 21 years in prison. The trial will begin with jury selection on October 15th. It's expected to last at least 4 days. At 6:38, the CBS4 problem solvers are getting involved after an Indianapolis woman said that a payroll company suddenly shut down, causing her to lose her paycheck twice. Dana Franklin works as a contract employee in Indianapolis. Her company issues checks through My Payroll HR. Now, that company suddenly closed last week. That meant thousands of employees across the country saying their paychecks are gone. Cachet Financial Services completed direct deposits as a third-party vendor for My Payroll HR. They claim that the company My Payroll HR took $26 million of their money to make payroll. Cachet then made a fraud claim to reverse the paycheck deposits of thousands of employees.
It's not a very secure feeling knowing that this could happen, and it never should have happened.
Cachet says if told more than 100 banks to stop the reversing of the checks and return the money to employees. We contacted My Payroll HR, but we didn't hear back. Now, if you or someone you know was impacted by this, Cachet recommends calling your bank immediately to get your paycheck back.
So the Colts are back on the practice field today, and meanwhile in West Lafayette, Purdue features one of the top players in the nation. Our Chris Widlick has more on a baby boiler making headlines again.
It's time for Sports in 60 Seconds. Time to start the clock. Purdue star sophomore Rondale Moore is lighting it up again. He leads the nation in catches and receiving yards in the early going this September. The Louisville native never likes to talk about himself, but he does love what the offense is doing so far.
I think we have a lot of room to grow. We're still making some mistakes that, we can get better at, and, we just have to continue to get better. I think we have a really good quarterback that can sling it. We're doing a good job of protecting right now, and we have some receivers that can go. So I'm really excited about this offense.
And Antonio Brown is making headlines again. The egocentric, now Patriot receiver has been accused of sexual assault by his former trainer in Pittsburgh. Meantime, Raiders coach John Gruden is happy just to be rid of him.
My God. I mean, I feel like someone's smashing my temple on the side of the head. Get over it, man. It's over. We were good the preseason without him. We're going to be fine without him. And we wish him the best. But, we gave it a shot. And now New England gets their turn. Good luck to them. But I just can't, I can't deal with it anymore, really. Sorry.
I love John Gruden. Stay tuned for Bill Belichick's reaction this week. That's Sports in 60 Seconds. I'm Chris Widlick.
An unusual punishment for students at one Tennessee high school. We're going to show you why school officials painted over the bathroom mirrors.
And 4 people are accused of being involved in a burglary ring. What the suspects were doing when officers caught up with them.
And then we are still following this breaking traffic news here. Now we're looking at over a 5-mile backup there. However, as you can see, looks like we do see some improvement there. I am still monitoring that slowdown, so it looks like I'll have some good news when we come back.
Back to life, back to reality.
At 6:45, we are awaking here on the 18th commemoration of 9/11. It's been 18 years since that day, and flags will be flying at half-staff all over the country. We are remembering the thousands of men and women who died in those terrorist attacks. So much to get to on that. Thanks for being here on CBS4 this morning. I'm Frank Mickens, and I'm with Angela Brower, standing by with your news trending now across the nation.
Yeah, Frank, let's get to it. In Illinois, a train derailment sparked quite the fire. 14 freight cars jumped that track and several burst into flames. Union Pacific Railroad officials say there was flammable liquid inside one of the cars. The chemical fire forced several homes and schools nearby to evacuate. Let's go to Arizona now. This video is crazy. A small plane crashed into an Arizona airport shortly after takeoff. Not on the runway either. It crashed into the building near where the roof actually meets the walls. 2 people were on board. Each of them had to go to the hospital. They are expected to survive. Investigators are trying to figure out what exactly caused that crash. A Tennessee high school, this is interesting, painted over its bathroom mirrors because it said too many students were late to class. The district said the students were spending too much time in the bathroom. Some students and their parents complained, saying, quote, even prisons have mirrors. They said kids need to make sure there isn't anything in their teeth, that their hair is okay. They need the confidence to go out into the halls, that there's too much bullying going on. Officials removed the paint and the principal apologized. A family of bobcats took a stroll through a New Mexico backyard actually. The homeowner said they're really used to seeing coyotes, but they rarely see bobcats. They told their neighbors about the sightings just as a reminder to keep their pets safe. Now, Frank, you know I came from Albuquerque. This is in a neighborhood that's really close to the mountains, and bobcats are rarely aggressive, but they have been known there to make pets go missing. Cats and chickens and things like that. So you do have to be really careful. These little guys look very cute, though. Little kittens, bobcat kittens.
They'll just grow up and take your cat. Okay.
Gotta be careful.
All right, 6:47. Rachel has breaking traffic news.
I was like, Frank, they're cute from the other side of the window, but okay. So moving on, I have some good news here. Well, good and bad. We'll start with the good here. So as you saw just a couple minutes ago when you last saw me, that crash did just clear here. So the right lane no longer blocked there on southbound I-65 near the north split. So that's some good news. The bad news, though, I mean, we had 5 miles of backup. It's going to take quite a while to get that straightened out again. Plus, remember, that is that go-to detour there for a lot of folks during that southbound westbound 465 closure. So volume still very high. So if you were thinking of maybe taking that route and you're heading out the door in the next couple minutes, I would probably go ahead and use a secondary road instead, because taking a look there over to that far right side of your screen, yeah, that's that backup there. Again, that's all the way back to almost 465. Again, secondary route probably looking like a better option. We also had another new accident report at 56th and Moeller there. And then taking a quick look here, if you are heading out the door, expect about a 10-minute drive there on I-65 from 465 down to downtown, 15 minutes down I-69 from 116th to Benford. Hey, Star.
Hey, good morning, Rachel. I want to take you right over to this view from Victory Field. Still about 40 minutes before the sun officially rises. But when it does, it is going to rise on a hot day. Already toasty warm. Live look there, 74 degrees. That's first thing this morning. Fishers, you are at 72, 74 right now in Anderson. Greenfield at 71, Shelbyville 73, and 70 still in Spencer. So notably, a very warm start. Look at this. We've got that breeze still out of the south and west, a big factor in keeping us above average again today. And we really should only be topping off around 80 degrees this far into September. But in fact, today we will again hit 90. If we can do it again tomorrow, that'll be an official heat wave. So stand by for that. Live Guardian radar nice and quiet back home, but plenty of activity to the north and west where they have been dealing with tornadoes overnight. Already starting to see a couple of sprinkles popping up just south and west of Indianapolis. This will be kind of what we'll be seeing for the next couple of hours, and then again as we head into this evening. It's not going to be anything widespread. Not concerned about a severe threat today, but hold on to your umbrella. You may need it just on and off throughout the morning. Windshield wiper is just going to be on a couple of times for your drive there on the southwest side. Greencastle, your drive-in could be a little bit damp, but you notice they're really not picking up on a whole bunch. By lunchtime, we are already going to be back in the 80s, broken clouds at that point, and most of the afternoon will be dry. But look at this, a lot like this morning, we could have a couple couple of pop-up showers or storms. There's 3 o'clock, mainly north and east of the city, but we're all going to keep that chance in for later on. Overnight, though, nice and dry, nice and quiet, partly cloudy, and still pretty warm. Today's forecast high is 90 degrees with heat index values well into the 90s. So if you are going to have to be outside today, stay hydrated and take lots of breaks. Tonight, partly cloudy, still warm, low temperature of only 71 degrees. So the air conditioners, they're just going to keep on running. No breaks there. Tomorrow, we could hit 90 degrees again. And like I said, that will be an official heat wave. You need 3 90s in a row to do that. Very notable this far into September. So keeping the heat and the humidity, it's not going anywhere. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. We start to cool off, if you can call 86 a cool down for Friday. Scattered rain there, and then the weekend looks absolutely fantastic. Saturday 82, Sunday 84. Both days should be dry, Frank.
All right, summer is not done with us yet. 6:50. Well, new right now, the first woman to publicly accuse Larry Nassar of sexual assault is sharing her story in a new book. The former Michigan State and USA Gymnastics doctor was accused of sexually abusing more than 150 women and girls over the past 2 decades. Rachel Denhollander was the first woman to publicly accuse Nassar. Today, she's discussing her journey from gymnast to activist, detailed in her new book, What is a Girl Worth? Her story coming up next on CBS This Morning. President Donald Trump is looking for a new national security advisor after firing his latest appointment on Twitter. The president wrote that he, quote, disagreed strongly with many of John Bolton's suggestions, as did others in the administration, end quote. Bolton says that's not true, saying he offered to resign. Bolton joined the administration last year, replacing H.R. McMaster. A woman from Kansas is now the 6th person to die from lung disease related to vaping. Kansas health officials say the woman was over 50 years of age. She did have health problems. Her death, however, is raising more concerns about regulating e-cigarettes. There are currently now at least 450 possible cases of vaping-related lung illness across 33 states, and yes, that includes Indiana. Many patients with lung injuries are reporting vaping THC.
So the principal of Blackford High School here in Indiana says he started noticing students were putting weed in their e-cigs last December. He said the THC is so potent, their heart rates go up and they start sweating. The school suggested medical help for students last year.
Most of our kids, I think, in our building, they're getting it online. And that's what we've been told with the kids that we've caught with any type of THC.
The school is now taking steps to address this. It's training teachers to look for strange behaviors and to recognize certain situations.
We got a pit, roll over. Shut down traffic, pit, roll over.
Caught on camera, police in Wisconsin chasing down a suspected burglary ring. 4 people are now accused of taking more than $1 million worth of goods. Police say the suspects are tied to more than 25 burglaries across 3 different states, and it includes Indiana. One of the people arrested is actually reportedly from Kokomo. Officers caught up to the 4 people after a burglary at a Wisconsin Best Buy. When police arrested them, the accused were still wearing their masks and their gloves.
Criminals like this know that they have little to lose. They're just caught leaving a burglary. They have a large amount of merchandise, and this vehicle isn't going to stop until it runs out of gas, hits someone, or until we bring it to an end.
Police found stolen merchandise and other evidence in that van. Detectives are now following up on leads, and they expect to file charges later this week.
A student admitted to having a handgun in their locker at West Lane Middle School. Washington Township Schools says a teacher overheard a conversation and alerted the administration. That handgun was not loaded. It's unclear if police arrested the student, but we do know it's at least the 6th time since August a gun has been found at or near an Indiana school. The State Department of Education now looking to revoke the license of an Indiana teacher. The complaint accuses Tri-West football coach and teacher Tyler Bruce of, quote, immoral acts and neglect of duty. Parents packed into the Northwest Hendrick School Board meeting both in anger and in support of the coach. Earlier in the year, the board unanimously voted not to fire Bruce. He has not been charged. He is on paid leave. He's denying any wrongdoing. The Hendricks County Sheriff's Office, however, is still investigating.
Right now, the search is on for a missing 14-year-old from Shelbyville.
Diego Ordonez Pais was last seen 2 weeks ago.
CBS4's Jessica Hayes has the latest now in this search.
Police say any child missing for 2 weeks is in danger. Diego Ordonez Pais is originally from Guatemala. He lived in Shelbyville for the last year with a sponsor. That sponsor told police Diego left to stay with family in Mississippi, but investigators there can't find Diego or any family in Mississippi. Police here aren't ruling out anything, including human trafficking. One organization to fight trafficking told us they're seeing a rise in trafficking here. They say Indiana is a crossroads that criminals take advantage of. The search for Diego continues. If you see him, call Shelbyville Police right away.
Well, at 6:55 today marks 18 years since September 11, 2001, the deadliest terror attack in American history.
Almost 3,000 people were killed, including 9 Hoosiers, when hijacked planes ran into the World Trade Center towers in New York and ran into the Pentagon. Passengers rushed the cockpit of a 4th plane, crashing it into a field in Pennsylvania. Today, all flags across our nation are at half-staff, honoring the victims. At 8:30, the names of the victims killed at the Twin Towers will be read at Ground Zero, followed by a ceremony at the Pentagon. You're looking at a live picture of a flag at half-staff. At 9:30, Vice President Mike Pence is speaking at the Flight 93 Shanksville ceremony in western Pennsylvania. And at 8 o'clock tonight, 2 beams of light symbolizing the Twin Towers will shine.
In Maryland, a military school will honor the lives lost on 9/11. Hundreds of midshipmen placed 2,977 American flags at the United States Naval Academy yesterday. Here at home, several ceremonies will honor those fallen as well.
Charlene Cristobal is at the 9/11 Memorial in downtown Indy. Charlene, talk about what's happening there.
Yeah, the ceremony will be at 10 this morning. It'll be a special ceremony to remember the anniversary, but it's also special because the 9/11 Memorial Committee will be announcing some expansion efforts that they need your help with. So the committee plans on doing several things here at the memorial. First, they want to add to the wall that's already here about 10 feet and mount the Pentagon stone at the memorial. They also want to add flags and a special memorial for Lieutenant General Tiffany Maud. He was the highest ranking military official who was killed on 9/11. The goal here is to raise about $450,000 in 6 months to a year to fund all of that expansion. They say they want the memorial to stand forever as a representation of strength and resilience of all Americans. Now, that ceremony is going to be at this 9/11 Memorial on West Ohio Street. That's going to be at 10 this morning. Everyone is welcome to come. Reporting downtown, Charlene Cristobal, CBS4 News.
Back in July, President Donald Trump signed the 9/11 victim compensation bill into law.
And that fund provides for the families of people who died in the 2001 attacks. It also compensates people wounded on September 11th, as well as victims and first responders suffering from 9/11 related illnesses. The president says thousands of first responders are battling illnesses related to the attacks, and the nation will stand behind them.
This law makes permanent the financial support for families who lost precious loved ones. It also provides pensions for those who are suffering from cancer and other illnesses.
18 years ago, thousands of blood donors flocked to blood centers all over the country to help victims of 9/11. And today there will be a blood donation drive happening at 6 Versity blood centers. You're going to see some of those here on your screen. If you donate, you'll get special remembrance cards honoring the lives of the nearly 3,000 people who died. We, in fact, have a link on all the events happening today in the Hoosier State on CBS4Indy.com.
Isolated rain possible today, but many dry hours are expected and the heat continues. High of 90 today, again tomorrow. Scattered storms with a high of 86 on Friday, and then you are looking at a fantastic weekend. So try to make some plans to be outside. Plenty of sunshine and a high of just 82 on Saturday, 84 and mostly sunny then on Sunday.
And while this isn't the best view, you can see the newest accident we're dealing with here. It's on northbound I-65 near 71st Street there on the northwest side. It appears to involve a semi there. You can see it pulled over near that median on that far right side. Also, hearing one lane of northbound Emerson is blocked as well due to a crash near that 465 ramp. 2 accidents, one of those at 56th and Moeller, the other at Zionsville Road right across from Pike High School, and we are still dealing with that big backup on westbound I-70.
All right, before you head out the door here at 7 o'clock, former Yankee slugger Alex Rodriguez stopping traffic in New York, literally.
All right, now everyone's watching. All right, we should get out of the bike lane. There's more people. Let's do it across the street. Big cat, wide open. Oh!
I would stop too. Hey, that's Alex Rodriguez right there, and former Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski throwing a football back and forth right in the middle of New York City traffic. A-Rod shared the video on Twitter telling Gronkowski, quote, I'll be your Tom Brady in pinstripes.
And Gronk is trending on Twitter. He responded to a tweet yesterday. The Patriots made a roster move, and he put the little eyes like
watching this.
So people are adding him to their fantasy teams that he might be coming back. Guess who just added him?
Doesn't want to just do the Tide commercials anymore, huh?
No Tide commercials. Yeah, get on that field, bro. Help my team.